Have you ever made a smart, logical decision, celebrated the quick win, and then just watched it blow up in your face 6 months later? Yeah, that's not bad luck. That's a failure of foresight. It's the gap between being a manager who just solves today's problems and a leader who actually architects tomorrow's success. Today, we're going to install the mental operating system that separates the two.
This right here, this quote, captures the entire game. We get so focused on the immediate splash our decisions make that we become completely blind to the powerful invisible ripples that come after. So in this explainer, we're going to give you the 3-step system for second-order thinking. It's how you stop just reacting to problems and start mastering the entire chain of consequences.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the cognitive trap that trips up almost everyone. Then, we'll map out how consequences really unfold. After that, we're getting practical. I'm going to equip you with 3 powerful tools for your arsenal: the and then what filter, the pre-mortem audit, and a killer heuristic for choosing the hard path that, believe it or not, leads to an easy future. So what is this trap exactly? Well, it's our brain's default setting. It's kind of like an evolutionary hangover. We are hardwired for simple, linear, cause and effect thinking. Now, that was great for, avoiding a saber-toothed tiger, but in today's complex world, this instinct for the easy, immediate answer is a total liability. It's like trying to run modern AI on a flip phone.
This slide lays it out perfectly. First-order thinking is all about the immediate fix. I'm hungry, so I eat. Sales are down, so we offer a discount. It's reactive, and it only treats the symptom. Second-order thinking, on the other hand, sees the entire chessboard. It runs a simulation of the future, asking, okay, if we offer this discount, what does that do to our brand? What about our profit margins next quarter? And what about our customers' expectations a year from now?
Now, the psychological engine driving this whole trap is something called hyperbolic discounting. Just think of it as a constant battle in your brain. You've got your impulsive side that screams for that instant gratification, and then you have your strategic side that's trying to plan for the long term. And let's be honest, without a system, that immediate payoff almost always wins. It's why a company might slash its R&D budget to make this quarter's numbers look good, getting that immediate stock price bump while totally sacrificing the innovation that would have saved them 10 years down the road. And this chart really shows the flawed math our brain is doing. That immediate reward, hitting the quarterly target, it feels like a 90 out of 100. It's huge. But that massive, game-changing reward that requires patience, well, our brain discounts its future value, so it feels like a 60. So what do? We consistently choose the smaller, faster win because we're satisfying an ancient survival instinct that just isn't built for the modern world. And here's the crucial part. Every single time you give in to that impulse, you take on what's called decision debt. Think of it like taking out a loan against your future self. For example, avoiding that tough conversation with an underperforming team member to keep the peace, that's the easy first-order choice. But the debt you just took on, it's the slow decay of your team's standards, the growing resentment from your top performers, and the toxic culture that will eventually come calling with catastrophic interest.
Okay, so we understand the problem. Now, let's talk about mastering the mechanism behind it. To get out of this trap, you have to upgrade your mental model of reality. You have to stop seeing a straight line from A to B and start seeing a complex, expanding web of consequences.
This is probably the most powerful metaphor for strategic thinking there is. Your decision isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. It's the pebble hitting the water. A first-order thinker is obsessed with the splash, that immediate, visible result. But a second-order thinker? They're obsessed with the ripples, the waves that travel outwards and affect everything in the pond long after that pebble has sunk.
Let's break this down. The pebble is your decision. Let's say you hire a star salesperson. The first ripple is what you expect. Sales go up. Great. That's where most people stop. But the second ripple is the system's reaction. How does the rest of the team feel about this new hire's huge commission structure? And then there's the third ripple, the most powerful and ignored one, the new set of incentives. You've just signaled to everyone that individual wins are more important than team collaboration, and that could create a really cutthroat culture.
This is a fundamental law. You have to remember it. Say a manager wants to increase output, so they create a bonus for the engineering team that ships code the fastest. The first-order result? Perfect. Code gets shipped faster. But the second-order result is that you've just created a massive incentive to ignore code quality, skip documentation, and rack up huge technical debt. You solved one problem by creating a bigger, sneakier one that's going to cripple you later on. You see, when you start consciously mapping out these ripples, you're literally upgrading your own mental hardware. You're shifting your brain from being a simple reaction machine, input, output, into a sophisticated strategic simulator that can play out multiple futures, spot hidden traps,
and find the best path forward before you ever commit a single resource.
So, how do we actually do this? This brings us to our first tool. It's called the and then what filter. It's a simple, recursive question that powers this entire strategic engine. It forces your brain to look right past that first tempting ripple and trace the consequences all the way out. Let's run a quick simulation. Let's say we're thinking about implementing new CRM software to boost sales efficiency. A first-order thinker says, great, it'll make us faster, let's do it. The second-order thinker applies the filter. Okay, we implement the software, and then what? Well, the first ripple is obvious. The team needs to be trained on it.
But we don't stop there. We ask again. Okay, so we train the team. And then what? Well, that training pulls our entire sales team off the floor for a week. So what happens to this quarter's sales numbers? And what about the software itself? And then what happens to our data security when we move all our customer data to a new cloud platform? See, all of a sudden we're mapping that second ripple, the hidden costs and risks.
We push one more time. We go deeper. Let's say we solve the security issues and the training time. And then what? What happens to team morale in 6 months if this new tool is actually clunky and adds 5 hours of admin work to everyone's week? What's the downstream effect on our employee turnover? And what happens to our negotiating power in 3 years when we're completely locked into this vendor system? Now we're in the third ripple, the deep human consequences that are totally invisible to first-order thinking. All right, our next tool is all about the strategic power of inversion. Instead of just focusing on how things will succeed, we're going to deliberately and systematically imagine total failure. This is the pre-mortem audit, and it's a favorite of the world's most effective leaders.
This one question feels wrong, doesn't it? It sounds so pessimistic, especially in a world obsessed with positive thinking. But I promise you, it is one of the most powerful strategic tools you can possibly use. It bypasses our natural optimism bias, and it frees your team from the pressure to agree with everything. It gives them permission to point out the icebergs that are hiding in plain sight.
Here's how it works. You get the team together for that CRM project, and you say this. Okay, everyone, fast forward 6 months. This project was a complete disaster. We're over budget, the team hates it, and sales are down. Tell me the story of how we failed. Immediately, the real risks start pouring out. The data migration was way harder than we thought. The vendor's support team was useless. Our best salesperson quit because she hated the new workflow. What you're doing is systematically hunting for those hidden ripples and exposing the hidden tax of consequences before you actually have to pay.
And that brings us to our final tool. This is the heuristic you use at the moment of truth. Because really, every big decision is a trade-off between what's easy now and what's valuable later. This matrix helps you make the right choice every time.
This matrix makes the paradox clear. Let's take a product launch. The easy choice is to ship the product now to meet a deadline, even if you know there are bugs. The first-order consequence is great. It's fast, it's easy, you hit your target. But the second-order consequence is that systemic debt. You get brand damage from bad reviews, your support team is overwhelmed, and your developers are crushed. The hard choice, delay the launch to fix the bugs. The first-order consequence is painful. You miss the deadline, the conversation is tough. But the second-order consequence is systemic leverage, a flawless user experience, amazing reviews, brand loyalty, and a team that's free to innovate.
Now, the point of this isn't to make your life harder. It's to strategically choose a small, manageable difficulty now to unlock a massive, easy payoff later. It's a framework that biases your decisions toward choices that compound positively over time. You're building momentum instead of racking up debt. You are literally investing in making your future self's job effortless.
So there you have it. This is your protocol for elite decision-making. First, run every major choice through the and then what filter to map out all the consequences. Second, conduct a pre-mortem audit to stress test your plans against reality. And third, when you're at a crossroads, use the hard choice heuristic to make sure you're optimizing for long-term leverage, not just short-term comfort.
Look, at the end of the day, first-order thinkers are pretty good at solving problems, but second-order thinkers are geniuses at avoiding them in the first place. By mastering the ability to see the ripples before you throw the stone, you stop spending all your time fighting fires and fixing past mistakes. And that leaves you with the clarity, the resources, and the focus to build the future you actually want.